Last time, Melissa informed our MC that she is there to make a deal, and the deal benefits both of them. Next, Melissa is ready to get that small amount of the dragon bodily fluids. MC gets ready to give her his fluids, but she will have to do something about all the annoying adventurers. If it was just the adventurers from the Pylon City, she can stop them. However, he kidnapped the elf princess, and this is going to be troublesome. And since the victim is an elf princess, the matter has become very diplomatic. This will be more troublesome for him now because it's the elf princess. MC gets ready to give back the elf princess, and he is not the one who kidnapped her, she kidnapped herself. And elf princess is begging him to show his meat weapon. She wants to see Dragon's weapon. However, Melissa informs him that returning the elf princess will not solve the matter, because the rumors have already spread that she was kidnapped by an orc. And there are all kinds of story regarding elf princess and orcs, so her image has already been ruined by now. Unless Mr. Dragon is able to completely change all humans' inherent understandings of orcs. Now he is F up. The horny princess made his otaku life miserable. Then he gets an idea and pushes Melissa on the wall, saying that he will use a methods and means that will completely change the point of view of humans toward the orcs. However, Melissa thinks if he is thinking of using illusion magic, then it's not going to work because this news have already spread around the world. MC is sure that with his method he can do it. After all, he just needs to change the perception, and he is very good at it. With his method, he can make the humans actively like orcs, dungeon, monsters, and even abyss dragons like him. Melissa doesn't think that there is such a method. If there was, then the high authority would have already used it for their own gain. MC informs them that his method is cultural invasion. To be precise, he is going to introduce entertainment industry, and it's called a movie. This surprises the two ladies because they are hearing those words for the first time. MC then informs them about what a movie is. He informs them that it's just a theatrical performance, but it's an image recorded by magic and can be projected. The plot is easier to understand than a drama. Even ordinary people can understand it. Even farmers working in the fields can understand it. And he thinks that it's great if magic can be used to project the story. Melissa is also getting interested now. He gets ready to make Melissa his camera and special effect artist. These new words of Mr. Dragon is putting their brain on fire. The camera, the special effect, they have never heard of such thing, and they doesn't even know if that is a thing or a person. And Mr. Dragon gets ready to be the director, screenwriter, and part-time male lead. And he will also needs a female lead, and other actors, musician, etc. Horny Princess gets ready to be the female lead. And MC was also thinking to make her the female lead because she is the one who caused all this mess. Melissa is also ready to play her role. However, she thinks if it's similar to a drama, then they will need a script. And without a compelling script, no one will buy it. As for the script, they don't need to worry about it. He is the best script writer. All he needs is to change people's perception of the orcs and dungeons. He gets ready to use the knowledge and stories of his previous life, like the King Kong, the Beauty and the Beast, Tarzan, and Edward Scissorhand. Edward Scissorhand is the best story, I think, because even now, I don't know how Edward used bathroom. Because with those scissors in his finger, bro, that was just too dangerous. Okay, jokes aside. And now that he got his story, he gets ready to change the name from Beauty and the Beast to Elf and the Beast. However, that alone is not enough to spice up the story. So he gets ready to add some of the Snow White, Little Mermaid and more. And Melissa is surprised that just by looking at the title, the story seems to be very interesting. However, she asks him if he is sure that this movie of his will not make the Elven Kingdom to go to a war with him and his dungeon. If that happens, she is worried that his dungeon will be razed to the ground. Alfrea is also liking the title because it has elf and beast in it. Frog is also liking the title, and since they all are liking the title, he gets ready to begin with his story. And this is a very interesting story. You guys are going to like it. The story begins like this, that a long time ago, there was an elven kingdom on a vast land covered with forests. Fast forward to the story. The handsome elf king and the kind elf queen gave birth to a princess, and she has a snow-like skin, and her name was Snow Elf Princess. And the Snow White Elf Princess fled the elf kingdom because she was persecuted by her evil stepmother. And we don't know what happened to her real mother. The story directly jumped to her stepmother, who wants to be the most beautiful woman in the world. And during the escape, the Snow White Elf Princess was rescued by the orcs in the dungeon. And when the princess woke up and saw that the person who saved her was an orc, she was so frightened that she fainted. Opposite of the horny princess we have. However, MC is thinking that the story seemed little lame, so to spice it up, he inserts another story in it, that the orc was a cursed human prince who lived in the dungeon. The prince asked a witch for a help. He asked the witch to transform him back to human form, but the price for that was too much. He has to sacrifice everything he has, starting from his taste and finally his heart. He sacrificed his taste to please the elf princess with his human form, but the human form only lasted for one night. After the period of contact, the elf princess gradually accepted the prince who looked like a beast, but was delicate and gentle in heart. Now Elfria is finding the story nonsense, because she is never going to fall for a human prince, because they have the body that can be blown away by the gust of wind. How can it compare to the huge muscle Mr. Orc? They leave her like that and continue with the story. And the evil elf stepmother, Elf Queen, with the help of a magic talking mirror, finds the dungeon where the elf princess and the beast prince were hiding. Evil stepmother then lead an army to attack those lovebirds. Now Elfria is mad at that stepmother for being jealous of her beauty, and Melissa is fascinated by the magic mirror that can talk and knows everything. She wonders what type of magic item is it, and the disciple is finding that the stepmother is a bit similar to her teacher. MC stops their nonsense and tells them to pay attention to his story. He continues his story again, that in order to protect his sweetheart, the prince sacrificed his heart to gain powerful power, and he finally died in the arms of the elf princess in a handsome and unrestrained human posture. And that's the end of his amazing story. Elfria is crying because the story was so touching, she can relate it with her own story. Even the frog is touched by the story. Now she too wants to meet with such prince, who is ready to sacrifice everything for her. The story has even brought some tears to Melissa's eye. She is sure that even if she searched the entire continent, she won't be able to find such a great story. And she is also sure that if they put on a theatrical stage and the story goes viral, it will definitely change people's perception on orcs and dungeon. And now everything is settled. He gets ready to be the orc prince, and the horny princess to be the elf princess. She jumps at him with joy to be his Snow White elf princess. And guys, today's target is 1K likes. Help this episode reach 1K likes for next part. Let's continue with the story. Next, Melissa is doing the role of the evil stepmother, and is asking the mirror who is the most beautiful woman in the world. The mirror tells her that she is the most beautiful woman in that room, and MC is the mirror's voice artist. The mirror tells the evil stepmother that Snow White elf princess is the most beautiful woman in the world. This makes the queen very mad, and gets ready to kill that elf princess and eat her heart, liver, and lungs. And the disciple is doing the camera work right now. FYI, she is the frog which was on Melissa's shoulder. The prince kissed her and turned her back into human. Melissa asks Mr. Dragon how was her acting. However, Mr. Dragon was not able to focus on her acting because those big melons and thick thighs were all he can see. And this is making Elfira mad because instead of looking at her bigs, her man is looking at another woman's bigs. She gets ready to do her scene. Now they are finished with the old woman's scene. MC gets ready to shoot her scene among the flowers to highlight the beauty and joy of being a princess. However, he is finding it difficult to stimulate the real blue sky and white clouds in that room. Melissa gets ready to fix it with illusion magic. And now everything is done. They gets ready to begin the next scene, and we see a beautiful Snow White elf princess playing with some flowers. She even lifts her skirt a little, trying to be a little naughty here. And MC is surprised that she can actually act like a real princess. Then she starts to act horny again. After all, how can one stop their real self? She even starts to sing some song about an orc attacking her, how she was pushed down on the ground by Mr. Orc. MC stops her singing and asks what kind of song is she singing, rubbing herself on it. She tells him that that's her own song, and it's called I Want to Be Attacked by Mr. Beast. MC tells her to be normal and act how she used to act in the Elf Kingdom. However, this is her true self, and she used to sing this song every day when she was in the Elf Kingdom. MC tells her to be normal and gets ready to reshoot the scene. Next, Melissa have put all the scenes in magic crystal, and seeing such a big magic crystal, MC wonders if common people can even afford to buy such a big crystal. Melissa informs him that that magic crystal is the lowest quality magic crystal. They get ready to see the effects, and are surprised to see such an amazing effects. MC then starts to check what's their next plot is. And it's the plot where the evil queen sent her troops to hunt down the princess. And it's his fired him up, because it's a very important chase scene, and it must be shot thrillingly. However, they are only 4 of them and the scene requires a lot of soldiers. Melissa gets ready to borrow the monster he has in his dungeon. But MC doesn't think that that's going to work, because even if they change those monsters into human, they will only look like the titans from a OT. But he gets a brilliant idea where they can find the soldiers to create that chase scene. He gets ready to go and see what those guys Melissa teleported are doing. Next, the knight who jumped at MC, his attack didn't landed, and none of their attack landed, and are shocked to find themselves out in the forest. They are super sure that they were just inside the dungeon just now. The knight's leader thinks that they are in an illusion, but the mages are sure that they are not in an illusion. They are really outside the dungeon now. Sue knows what exactly happened here, because this is her second time. She informs them that it's the doing of that orc. He used a teleportation magic to teleport them outside the dungeon. He did the same thing with her last time. However, mages are finding it difficult to believe because it's not possible for one person to teleport more than 50 people at once, and with their Lady Melissa by their side, they are sure she wouldn't have let that orc do something like this, so they think that it's the defensive magic of the dungeon. Then the knight notices that their Lady Melissa is missing. And this is making Sue mad because last time was her princess and now Lady Melissa. She is cursing that orc now. However, the people are sure that their Lady Melissa will be fine because she is super strong. Sue gets ready to lead them and go back to the dungeon. They gets ready to follow her because the princess hasn't been rescued and now their Lady Melissa is missing. They are not going home with empty-handed, and the three are keeping their eye on them. Alfrea wonders if his plan really going to work. He assures her that it's going to work out without a doubt. Next, he then informs them about his plan, how they will make those soldiers chase them. Alfrea jumps at him and is ready to wait for him to come and rescue her. He gets ready to come and rescue her, but before that, she will have to be ready because those soldiers are going far away. Next, the soldiers notices someone in front of them. Sue also notices something behind the trees. Then she gets shocked to see the thing in front of her. It was not a thing but her princess. It is confused what her princess is doing there. And Alfrea is there because she is waiting for Melissa to do her trick. And Melissa is chanting some illusion magic. She changes Alfrea into an orc. The warriors are confused why an orc is outside the dungeon, but that doesn't matter. They gets ready to finish that orc. Sue also doesn't know what's going on there, but one thing is clear, that that thing is not her princess. She shoots an arrow at that orc, which the orc manages to dodge, but her hair gets cut by the arrow. And now she is getting scared because those guys are serious about killing her. And Disciple Frog is recording the scene in the magic crystal. This time, she is the cameraman, or camera woman. Sue is shocked and confused to see that the orc is so flexible like an elf. She wonders if this orc have a training in the Elven Kingdom. However, that doesn't matter right now. She shoots 4 arrows this time. Alfrea still manages to dodge all 4 arrows. And MC is getting excited because it's going just like how he wanted to. Sue orders the other 2 elves to attack that orc from both sides and block that orc's dodge route. And they are also sure that this orc must have something to do with that dungeon. And once they captures it, they will definitely be able to get some valuable information from it. Then suddenly a tree falls in front of them. They manage to dodge that tree, and now Sue is 100% sure that there are more orcs there. And this fall of the tree has been done by one of those orcs to save their friend. This makes her super mad. She never thought that there are so many orc remnants in that area. She gets ready to immediately report to the king and request an expeditionary force. She will then exterminate every plants, trees, flowers, and stones that are in that area. On the other side, the story of the movie is going very well. The orc managed to save the princess from the bad guys, and the frog is narrating how the orc saved the princess from the bad guys while carrying the camera on her back. The orc then brings the princess back to where he was hiding. He then gently laid the princess on the bed, and the princess, who is as white as snow, thought to herself, "Why the vulgar beastman lives in such an elegant room?" She asks the orc, "What are you going to do to me?" Even though the orc in front of her was her savior, Princess was still wary. The orc felt a little embarrassed when facing the shy and cute princess on the bed, and told her that he just saw her being chased and hunted by those bad guys. That's why he saved her. The Snow White elf princess then thanked him for saving her. She then throws herself onto him, and since she doesn't have anything to pay him with, she gets ready to pay him with her body. MC tries to stop her because her performance is different from the script. She should be frightened and confused, and asked him who is he and act like she is afraid of him. But she doesn't think that she needs to be afraid of him because he is very cute in her eyes. She pushes him down and sits on his lap, asking if he doesn't want her to commit herself to him. She starts to show the best side of hers to him, and Melissa is shocked to see this side of the princess. However, she gets an idea on how to shoot this scene. MC asks her how. She informs them that she will use her illusion magic and turn him into a handsome human prince. She uses her magic and turns him into a handsome human prince with golden hair. And after seeing that, the princess is like, "What the heck is that?" The handsome prince approaches her, and she is trying her best to hold back, telling herself that the person in front of her is her Mr. Orc, Mr. Dragon. Don't be deceived by his disgusting appearance. However, she couldn't hold it back and puke after seeing that face so close to hers. She apologizes to her Mr. Orc, and she doesn't hate him, it's just the face which looks too real. And now the scene where the princess is scared and frightened is completed, thanks to the genius mind of the sage Melissa. And the frog is like, a normal princess would look like this when she sees an orc. And she is surprised that her teacher is so cruel that she made the poor princess to see such a terrible sight. Tear gives her a dead look. She jumps off her shoulder. Then Melissa notices something. She informs Mr. Dragon that something is going outside the dungeon. MC asks her what's going on and why is she looking like that. She informs him that there was a little accident outside the dungeon, but now he doesn't need to worry because she has already used her illusion magic to hide the entrance of the dungeon. Outside the dungeon, the warriors are running around the forest and doesn't know if they are on the right road because they have been running back and forth for like several hours. Sue informs them not to worry because she is an elf, and elves are natural scouts and will never get lost. But one warrior seems to have noticed that they have been going round and round around that forest. Now they all agrees that they have lost, and Sue is also doubting her skill of scout. However, she gets ready to give it one last try, and the elves who were with her also notice that something is wrong with the forest, and Sue have also noticed that, and wonders if they have actually got lost. Then they notice an opening in front of them. They come outside and notice a guy working in his farm. And after seeing those people coming out from the forest, the villager gets scared and starts to shout that the robbers have entered the village, and call the village guard quickly. But his friend doesn't think that the village guard is enough for those people, because there are so many of them with weapons. He thinks that they should call the village chief. The knight stops them and asks where is that place. They inform them that the village is under the jurisdiction of Sir Henry. The mage have heard about Sir Henry, a noble from around Sidham City. Then they all realize that they were near the Pylon City, so how did they end up in the Sidham City, which is like hundreds of miles far away from Pylon City? They got lost, no doubt. Next, outside the Pylon City, near the dungeon, Akol, the frog apprentice, is playing the role of knight, and has come with his soldiers to take back the princess, and is mad that the princess is willing to stay with that orc, and it's an insult to the royal family. Mr. Orc gets ready to do his best to protect the princess. The knight orders his soldiers to kill that orc. His little soldiers jumps at Mr. Orc. Mr. Orc changes into his human prince form and even becomes powerful after sacrificing his heart, and finishes all those bad guys alone. Then he fell into the arms of the Snow White Elf princess, and princess was shocked and sad to see him in that state. And the princess her trying her best to hold back that vomit, because that human face is way too close to her face. Melissa stops them and gets ready to reshoot that scene again. They start again. The human prince asks the elf princess to have a last dance with him. They both blushes. The two then dances in each other's arms on the illuminated stage. Apprentice informs her teacher that it's time to end it. However, teacher is enjoying that dance. Next, they finished filming that movie, and now the filming is completed. Melissa gets ready to get her reward, and now she is acting like a horny animal. I mean hungry animal ready to get his fluids. She changes her dress into that of a sexy nurse, and Mr. Dragon is getting scared after seeing that. She promises him that she will be very gentle since it's his first time and will collect very gently. Damn, she is good. MC stops her and informs her that their agreement will not be completed until the movie is released in theaters. Now she remembers him saying something about theater chain. MC informs them that they just completed the first step. They still haven't finished editing, and Akol is taking notes of everything he is saying. MC asks for her name. She tells him that her name is Akolosis. MC asks her to help him edit the video. And now all that left is to search for the theaters. Melissa informs him that there isn't a decent theater in Pylon. Now this creates a new problem. After all that effort of making the movie, they don't have a place to show it to public. Akol informs them she might be able to help with the theater. The two looks at her like a hungry animals and asks how can she help. And now she is feeling like she has opened her mouth where she shouldn't. Thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed it, then please do 1K likes for next part and stay tuned because next is going to be a big kaboom.